Once upon a time, there lived a very wealthy woman who wore the same dress for over 20 years. Her name was Chikodi, and everywhere she went, people recognized her not by her wealth or influence, but by her faded dress that she never stopped wearing. For 20 long years, Chikodi wore the same dress. Her maids washed it every single night. They dried it carefully before dawn, ironed it gently, and laid it out like something sacred. Chikodi wore it to the office, to the market, to church, to meetings where millions of naira were made. She wore it when she gave speeches. She wore it when she signed deals. She even wore it when she prayed, and people began to whisper. Some laughed at her, some mocked her, as they called her a money misroad, a woman who had money but no sense, a woman who lived like a beggar despite the wealth that she had amassed. They shook their heads, unable to understand why someone so rich would choose to look so ordinary. But no one in this world was more ashamed of her than her own daughter, Daisy. To Daisy, that dress was a curse. It was ugly, old, embarrassing. It made her stomach twist every time she saw it. Whenever her mother appeared at school events or public gatherings in that same dress, Daisy wished the ground would open and swallow her whole. One morning, as they prepared to leave the house, Daisy finally exploded. "Mommy, don't you have shame?" she snapped, her voice sharp with anger and humiliation. "Other mothers change clothes now. You're always wearing this rag, like you don't have any money. All my friends laugh at you, calling me the daughter of a village woman. Some even say that you stink and that you are a cleaner who most likely worked for a wealthy family. No one believes me when I tell them that you're really rich. They even laugh and call me delusional, all because you chose to wear that useless dress that even a beggar would reject." "But it's always clean," she replied her daughter, who rolled her eyes and walked away. Chikodi stood there silent as tears began to pour down her eyes. She could see the disappointment on her daughter's face and knew how much this had gotten to her. However, as the days passed, Chikodi continued to live her normal life. She continued to wear the same dress, and this infuriated her daughter, who could not stand the sight of her. One evening, Chikodi arrived at her daughter's school to pick her up. She searched the entire school and was told that her daughter had already left school. By the time she arrived home, she met her daughter, who did not seem pleased to see her. Chikodi asked why she left school without her permission, and her daughter informed her that she would be following Kamsi's mother home. Everyone loved how Kamsi's mother dresses. They even compare her to you, saying that Kamsi's mother should give you some fashion classes. "At this point, Mom, I would prefer to come home with her," she said to Chikodi, whose heart broke into a million pieces. She retired to her room that evening in tears as her daughter's words replayed in her mind over and over again. Daisy, however, sat in her own room sad. To her, that dress was not just simple. It was a public disgrace that followed her like a shadow wherever she went, and every time she saw it, something bitter rose inside her throat. Anger, shame, and a question that she could not help but ask. Why did God give me a mother like this? Daisy asked herself over and over again as she compared her mother to the other mothers in the school who were not even half as wealthy as her mother was. Her embarrassment did not even start in one day. It grew like a stubborn weed, watered by whispers, laughter, and the cruel eyes of people who love gossip more than truth. At school, Daisy was the girl people watched. Her hair always perfect, her shoes always clean, her phone always new. Everyone knew her mother was rich because her school fees were paid early and her bags changed like the weather. But whenever Chikodi came around, everything that Daisy had built cracked. One afternoon, during their open day, parents flooded the compound wearing lace, perfume, and pride. Daisy stood with her friends near the staircase, laughing too loudly as her mother approached her in her old dress. "Is that not your mom?" a girl asked as her voice dripped in disbelief. Daisy turned and saw her mother stepping out of the car, gift basket in hand, waving like the happiest woman on earth. The crowd noticed. Some parents nodded respectfully because money commands respect even when the clothes does not. But the students, oh, the students were merciless. "She looks like a house help." Some snickered. "Are you sure she's rich?" Another mocked as her Daisy's throat tightened. She wanted to disappear. She wanted the ground to open up and swallow her as she watched her mother wave at her happily. Daisy pretended not to see her. She turned away and walked inside as her mother's hand remained suspended in the air. Her smile did not break immediately. It simply faded like tired light as she approached her daughter and asked how she was doing. Daisy responded coldly as she snatched the basket like it offended her.